Hi there! Today I will make the beams connecting the pontoons to the kayak. I want to be able to store the beams in the kayak, thus they need to be shorter than 120 centimeters. They should be strong enough to keep up with the lifting forces from the pontoons. That is about 120 newtons from a 12-liter pontoon. That is about the same force that the wind of 6 meters per second will generate on a 1 square meter sail. There will also be forces acting on the beam from the side as water resistance from waves and just from this entering the water will induce some drag, and thereby the beams needs also to resist bending in this axle. Thus the beams need to be strong in several directions. An O-beam is a good choice, as an O-beam will have strength both in this direction and in this direction. A solid beam would also be a possibility, but it will not use the material as well. It will be heavier and or less strong than an O-beam would be. To calculate the thickness of the beam, I use a rule of thumb saying that the beam should be 1/16 of the length of the beam. In my case that would be about 63 millimeters. I don't have any material that is 63 millimeters straight away, but I have a lot of material that is of a standard dimension 45 millimeters. I will use that and put extra material on the top and bottom of the beam in order to make a beam that is close to the rule of thumb. I will also add some glass fiber to make the beam watertight, both on the sides and on the top and on the bottom, and that will also strengthen the beam. Thus I think I will settle with just a bit over 5.5 centimeter thick beam. I need to check the connection to the pontoon before I glue the beam together. Then I strike thickened epoxy on the inside material. It is important for the water protection that all surfaces are covered. So I continue with the sides. Now I can start clamping these together. It is a little of a precision work, as I want the edges to line up. The third side gets some glue on the edge and on the inside. Before I clamp it in place. And check the alignment. I fill with extra epoxy on the inside to fill any voids in the joining. And start on the second beam. You can see that I use rather thin wall material, about 6 mm. The strength is mostly dependent on the end material, not so much on the material in the middle. Still, in the beam ends, I will make the beam solid.
3.4 centimeters and 4.4 centimeters the other direction.
I think I have something close up here.
3.6, that's quite right. And 4.4 other direction. So I just need to take down this 2 millimeters and then it will fit perfect.
I will need 9 cm solid wood for the fittings. This will work. Let's move inside. I put thickened epoxy on all surfaces, where the end piece will sit, and on the end piece. Before pressing it in place. A tight, snug fit. Now I can seal the beam with the fourth side, after putting epoxy on the inside. I clamp this as well. In the middle, the side is not perfectly aligned, and I have to pull the side out before I can clamp it in place. Then I can repeat the procedure with the second beam. The edges are trimmed. On all external sides until flat. The beam is really light. I figure out where the holes should be drilled from the middle part that I will finish later. I drill from one side before flipping over and finish from this side. I think this has potential. Now the fitting in the other end. As I made oversized holes, I now fill these with epoxy. Put glass on the surface. And clean cut this side. For later lamination of the other sides. I drill new holes. And also remember to put glass on the endings. All edges are smoothened. And surfaces as well. before I put on a second layer of epoxy. When cured, I proceed around the next side. So now I'm done with these beams, or almost done with the beams. They will hold the pontoons out on a distance from the kayak, like this. And they feel pretty strong. So I might have overdone them. I don't think there is a risk of them breaking. I just need to adjust the fitting here to the pontoon a little bit by adjusting the location of the hole. But I will do that off camera. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time.